pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, can you do an attendance roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Roman.
Here.
President Percival.
Here.
Vice President Capabianco.
Here.
Mr. Bull.
Here.
Mr. Costa.
Here.
Mrs. Giannakis.
Here.
Mrs. Haynes.
Here.
Mrs. Skrobak.
Here.
Chief Murray.
Here.
Mr. Wills.
Here.
Tanya.
Dan Art speaking here for Ms. Catania.
Mrs. Stillwell.
Present.
Ms. Matagi.
She's at a marching band.
Mr. Kolonkowitz.
Here.
Ms. Lawrence.
Here.
All present. Look more.
Did we get the chief?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you can-
Ladies and gentlemen, you have September's council meeting before you. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion to pass last month's minutes.
Second. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Mr. Secretary, do you have any correspondence?
Not this month, Madam President.
Keep it moving. Mayor, do you have a crimes report?
Yes, I do. Crimes reported in September. There was 5. 2 were for fraud, 1 was for harassment, 1 was for contempt of court, and 1 was for terroristic threats. Calls for service, there were 141. The most prevalent ones were 6 medical emergencies, 6 suspicious persons. Building checks, there were 14. Assist other agencies, 24, and domestic were 5. 2 accident traffic details, there were 23. Motor vehicle stops, there were 50. Traffic citations, there were 15. And warnings, there were 35. And with saying that, I'm gonna give the floor to the chief.
Madam President, if I could, just a minute of your time. Back in December of 23, December 9th of 23, and then again on December 31st of 23, the borough had 2 robberies committed at the Dunkin' Donuts on Edgemont Avenue. The investigation went on for months and months after the robberies occurred. We had several suspects come to light, and we started working on the suspects. And every time we got so far and we hit a dead end, they didn't pan out. In August of this past year, we closed the case to be opened again if we got additional information. During the robberies or immediately after the robberies, the police canvassed the area for video. They canvassed for any evidence that was discarded. And we were able to recover at the scene a glove, latex glove, worn by the robber, which was taken into evidence, sent to the lab. And in September, mid-September, we got the analysis back from the lab, and it identified a suspect that we didn't know. Investigation was reopened, and on October the 2nd of this year at 6:30 in the morning, the subject was arrested, taken into custody, and charged with both crimes. Yeah, good job by the guys.
Absolutely.
Mayor, do you have anything else?
That's all I have to say for that. Thank you, Madam President.
No? Any questions for the mayor?
Are you swearing anybody in?
That's down the line a little bit.
It's further down, I guess.
Thank you.
We will move on then to the fire department. Chief Lamey, do you have a report this evening?
Yes. Here's the chief's report for September of 2024.
The fire company made 15 responses in the month of September. Did 7 medical, 2 gas leaks, 1 fire call, 1 brush fire, 1 CO alarm, and 1 special incident call, and 1 motor vehicle accident. The Parkside Fire Company has successfully completed a 2-month EMR class last month, resulting in 14 members of our company earning certificates. We also have several members that have completed Pump 1 and Pump 2 in the past month. Congratulations to Nick, Sarah, and Stan for completing these classes. This month, we will be focusing on creating a driver schedule to ensure that all qualified individuals are available to respond to calls as needed. Throughout this month, we have been conducting surveys in the borough to develop hose layout procedures. Our dedication to preparedness and efficiency is evident in our ongoing efforts to improve our operations. On October 26th, we'll be participating in the borough's Trunk or Treat, where we will be distributing candy to the community. Additionally, on Halloween, we will be opening the station to children, allowing them to explore our trucks and enjoy some treats. This year, we are excited to have the fundraising committee join us in these activities. Please remember that the food bank is open every other Tuesday and Thursday to anyone in need of food. We have some school supplies there also. Check the webpage for any information. The fire company's annual fund drive is going on. We have sent out a flyer to all the residents. Please support your fire company. We are also asking to please help the Hillsborough County Fire and Rescue in Tampa, Florida. They are in need of basic necessities. Please see the flyer that I gave to Rob. We are asking the Borough Council to hang up at Borough Hall. They were hit hard during the past 2 storms. They were pretty much wiped out. So anything that anybody can send them, any basic needs, toothpaste, anything, shampoo, they're in dire need. And the Parkside Fire Company continues to train our members to better serve the community. Thank you.
Hey, Dave, you want to speak about that?
No. Huh? Before I forget, yes, I did forget that. So the fire company was just notified that our 501c3 is back in service, and it has been since April. So the fire company has secured that, and we are now tax exempt. So we worked hard to get that.
That is good news.
Thank you, Chief. At this time, there's a call to citizens, and this is on agenda-related items only. Agenda-related items only. Keep it moving then. President's report. I'd like to announce that after last month's meeting, we had an executive session concerning a legal matter. We have another budget workshop coming up next Wednesday, the 23rd at 7 p.m. For council, if you didn't see our treasurer's email, we're currently for next year at a deficit of $54,000. I had mentioned a Senate bill quite some time ago concerning a change in the right to know law. That's actually now on the table in the Senate awaiting final consideration. Council received an email. I hope you saw it today. I've been trying to track down Mr. Mike Fuller concerning our LED light program that's almost at the end of 2 years. Mr. Fuller has said that there's been missing fixtures. A second source couldn't come up with the fixture, and several other reasons why this project is still stalled. He is looking at the first week of November to complete it. And there are 2 problem areas. He did ask that we do not pay the first bill that was sent, which we weren't going to anyhow because the project's not completed. And they will send us a final bill when the 2 problem areas are finally completed. And I'd like to keep moving on that. There's a motion on the agenda to ratify the appointment of the crossing guard at West Garrison and Tom Sweeney. Last month, council was diligent in being concerned about the safety of the children in the Tom Sweeney, West Garrison area. Council at that time had the idea to make that street do not enter during certain hours. I did a brief survey one morning of the children that coming and going, the traffic. I initially did not think we needed a crossing guard, but after that morning, I realized that we truly did. Once we would have changed that street, we would have looked at having to change the traffic flow on that street. That means United States Post Office couldn't come up there during specific hours. We'd have to reroute the buses. We'd have to reroute the trash truck. We'd have to reroute delivery trucks such as Amazon. The chief, the mayor, and I, and Mr. Capabianco did speak about this concerning the need for a crossing guard versus rerouting traffic and changing the pattern on that street, which we would need a traffic study by the police, and we would also have to notify the residents there. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the appointment of a crossing guard at West Garrison and Tom Sweeney Drive.
Second.
Questions on the motion? Mr. Platt, would you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Bull,
Yes.
Mr. Capabianco,
Yes.
Mr. Costigan,
Yes.
Mrs. Giannakis,
Yes.
Mrs. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Percival,
Yes.
Mrs. Scrubba,
Yes.
7-0.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to empower the Civil Service Commission to do a non-competitive exam of Patrick McEwen to confirm his qualifications for police chief.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? Mr. Platt, would you do another roll call?
Yes, ma'am.
please?
Mr. Bull,
Yes.
Mr. Capabianco,
Yes.
Mr. Costigan,
Yes.
Mrs. Giannakis,
Yes.
Mrs. Haynes,
Yes.
Mrs. Percival,
Yes.
Mrs. Scrubba,
Yes.
I would ask that Mr. Wills get in touch with our civil service solicitor
Yes.
and notify him that we need to have this done ASAP.
Yes.
Unless anybody has any questions, we'll move on to the financial report. Mr. Bull.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, the treasurer's report to the Borough of Parkside, date October 11th, 2024, meeting October 16th, 2024. All bank accounts are reconciled through September 30th, 2024, and we are including the bank reconciliation and statements for all reconciled funds for council's approval. General funds for the month of September, $74,407 was deposited into TD Bank, which included Act 205 reimbursement for police pension of $50,332.44 and the fireman's relief of $12,206.76 with expenses of $4,191.51 were also paid. During this period, $46,967.28 in deposits were received into Sharon Bank's general fund, and $156,123.64 of expenses were paid, including payroll of $59,582.16. Below are the bank's balances per bank statements on 9/30/24. General account, Sharon Bank, balance $163,743. General account, TD, $312,309.73. General account, Pliget, $818,321.37. The rest of the escrow accounts, police fund, and liquid fuels, relatively de minimis. With that, I will make a motion to accept the treasurer's report for September.
Second.
Questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Madam President. As we move along, I would like to say that the bill sheet that was sent out on Friday needs to be updated. With that also said, there has been no anomalous transactions in the month of September, and that's why people were discussing the firehouses check yet once again. So my apologies on that. There was just so many similarities, and as we were going through it, it seemed relatively familiar to me. So at
My
that,
apologies as well. So I apologize.
we're all humans. But yeah, if you could send that out, that would be great. But I would still like to make the motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I will abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to move along to make a motion to release to the property owner at 142 East Avon Road at the fire insurance escrow monies in the sum of $24,306.23.
Second.
Any questions on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Last motion for me will be to make a motion to approve the accounting service agreement with Brinker Simpson effective January 1st, 2025.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Madam President. And ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I would like to move to the open space report and report general progress.
Super, thank you. Junior Councilperson, Mr. Costigan?
Thank you, Madam President. First, we'll have the swearing in of Daniel Karankwitz as returning junior council member.
Brianna, can you come up and hold the Bible for me? Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Daniel Karankiewicz,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
defend, obey
defend, obey
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties of my office with fidelity.
the duties of my office with fidelity.
Welcome back, Dana.
Yes. I hope you had a great summer.
I don't have anything to report for junior council, but I'll leave it to you two if you have anything.
So I just have a quick update on the letters, the ones that I handed out to the people and the businesses. And so far I've gotten all the money from the businesses that have reached out to me and as well as the people. So I'm just gonna list them all out. So the businesses that have donated, Keystone Pool Services, they gave us $100 and it's a check. Ace Hardware gave us a $100 gift card. Roland's the deli up the street, they gave us $100 in cash. Lowe's, they gave us supplies like flowers and other things. And so far we got 6 crepe myrtles, which I kind of got early. I wasn't really expecting that. Rocco's Pizza, the residents and the owners, they live in Parkside. They gave us $50 cash. And then the people who have donated, Dan Bonner, he gave us $10 cash. Richard DiSalvestro, which is my great grandfather, gave us $200 check. Louise DiSalvestro, my great grandmother, she gave us $100 check. Rich Flick, he's my great uncle, he gave us $100. It's a cash, and that's under the check number of 193. Minnie DiMinico, she gave us $100 check. Chris Roman, which is my grandfather, gave us $50 cash. Myself and my main mom, $400 each, $200 of our own money, and that's also under the check number 193. John and Deb Flick, my great uncle and my great aunt, they gave us $250 check. Monica Schmucker gave us $50 Lowe's gift card. She's a family friend. And then Baca of Delco, which is Bikers Against Child Abuse, they gave us $100 check. and I have that right here. So last month I received $1,410 in donations for the Memorial Garden, and this updated list, it is now up to $1,560, as well as $150 in gift cards and the 6 crepe myrtle bushes that Lowe's gave us. And if anybody else is willing to or wants to donate, you can send a check to Parkside Borough and just write in the memo for the Memorial Garden. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Daniel, what was the total?
For the updated, $1,560. That's not including the gift cards.
Awesome.
Anything else, Michael, Virginia?
That concludes the council report.
Recreation? Mayor Roman?
I know, that's all I have to report, thank you.
Recreation?
Sorry, I don't, I'm sorry, that's a long day. Okay, recreation. I just wanted to remind everybody about the trunk or treat. It's going to be held at Parkside Elementary School like it was last year, the past years, 4 to 6. We have a sign-up genius for anybody who's interested. We're just trying to get an idea how many people are going to participate, but if you don't sign up, you're still welcome to join the crowd of cars. After, and our junior council, they're going to dress up and hand out candy. They'll have their own little table, the junior council. The same night, we're going to have a movie. It's going to start approximately 6:30. And that's going to be inside the multi-purpose room. Then December 7th, we're having our holiday party at the Parkside Firehouse from 4 to 7. We'd definitely like a sign, for you guys to sign up for the sign-up genius. And that's between 4 to 7. Our tree lighting ceremony is 6 p.m. at the West Cole Memorial. December 20th and 21st, we're doing the house decorating contest again. We'll go around judging. It'll be winner from the east side and west sides. Winners will be announced on the 23rd. You can always stay informed by the flyer that we initially handed out in the beginning of the year, or there's copies out in the hall there. You can follow us on Facebook, which is the Parkside Recreation Committee Bulletin, or email us at parksiderec19015@gmail.com. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Allison, if you have anything to add to that,
I think we covered all of our upcoming events
you want to tell
between
them
now
the
and the end of the
movie?
year.
I didn't want to tell them the movie.
Oh, the movie after the trunk or treat
Yeah.
is Hotel Transylvania.
Let's hope for good weather.
Well,
Movie's
either way,
the
we're
movie's
having it
inside.
inside, so we can't have what happened last year. Too many delays.
Anything else, Mayor?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Moving on to police and public safety, Mr. Capriano.
Thank you, Madam President. For public safety, I could report general progress. For code enforcement, report general progress. For L&I, permits for the month of September, 9 buildings and 1 plumbing. And that's it.
Super, thank you. Ordinance, resolution, and grants?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to rescind a September motion to amend an ordinance. Madam President, if you want to talk
This is-
about that a little bit more.
Yes, this is what I was talking about earlier, the reason for the crossing guard. We had asked the solicitor to draw up a draft to make West Garrison do not enter. And of course, doing the survey and with all the rerouting of the traffic is inappropriate. So we have a motion to rescind that motion. We'll get a second.
Second.
Any questions on that motion? Rescind the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 1882 on the hazard mitigation plan. That was the one that we discussed at our last meeting. Basically states that our borough is most vulnerable to natural and human-made hazards which may result in loss of life and property, economic hardship, and threats to public health and safety. That's saying whereas. So basically this this will requires the state and local governments to develop and submit for approval to the president mitigation plan that outlines processes for identifying their respective natural hazards, risks, and vulnerabilities. So I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
Any questions on the resolution? On the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Mr. Platt, would you please make sure that Mr. Smith has a copy of this resolution if he needs it for the plan
There's a
itself?
copy for you to sign,
Yes.
and I also have this letter for you to sign.
Super, thank you. Anything else, Mrs. Scarpa?
No, Madam President.
Moving on, Public Works Property, Ms. Allison.
All right. So as an update to last month's discussion about the fall season and the leaf pickup in the neighborhood, we were able to secure that discounted equipment for the leaf removal, and so we have that. And the schedule for the leaf pickup is as follows, and the information, I'm just gonna run it down for you real quick, but all this information, the schedule will be on the website, posted following the meeting, so the residents will know. So we're gonna start the leaf pickup on Monday, October the 28th. The collection days will be Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, except for the week of November 11th through the 13th. So October, the 1 week, the last week of October, and then the following 3 weeks in November. The leaves have to be raked out to the curb and prior to the arrival of the Public Works employee coming around to get them. And the leaves will not be picked up if they're being blocked by a vehicle. So that's due to liability, they can't get to them. So again, like I said, that schedule for the leaf pickup will be posted, so everybody will know when that is. The second thing is the president of council apprised me of a recent automobile incident on Upland Avenue where speed may have been a factor. So as a measure of proactivity and due diligence, we discussed looking into electronic speed signs for that block. It's one block on Upland that's within the Parkside Borough, and it's between Arlington and Tom Sweeney. So we don't have any cost measures or information for that now, but we're working on it. We're looking into it. So likely more information about that specifically with regards to cost and situation will be at the next council meeting. And maybe the engineer may or may not want to speak to PennDOT's involvement or lack thereof at that point. Thirdly, I guess just some light housekeeping with regards to the 2024 road program. As a reminder from the July council meeting, at the recommendation of the engineer, a motion was carried to award the project to AF Damon. So again, it was Ms. Catania approved the payment. All the work has been completed. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to authorize that payment for $43,026.20 to AF Damon for the 2024 road program.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Thank you.
And then lastly, Bob let me know that he drafted a letter prepared to send to Brookhaven Borough Council for our salt purchasing participation, however you want to call that. So with council's approval, Bob can get that letter out.
Thank you, Bob, for doing that.
Sure.
And that's it.
Super. Any questions for Ms. Allison?
Is the sign that we went in on a number of years ago?
Yes.
2,700.
I'm just saying. We went in on one. I know some money was spent.
We
Yeah.
went with Brookhaven and Upland.
I'm just
And
curious
I've
if
been
it still
told
exists.
by Officer McEwen that the sign that is being stored in Brookhaven's garage for several years is beyond repair, that it has some issues in battery and Officer Chief and I spoke about this before the meeting, so we're going to look at some alternatives, whether it's to borrow some flashing signs or maybe some signs with reflectors around them. But the mobile unit that we did pitch in is no longer available. Any other questions or concerns? Did Mr. Smith leave a report?
Yes, Madam President, you did. For emergency management, there was an in-service training meeting at the County 911 Center, though he doesn't say when. The hazard mitigation paperwork is complete. There was an open residence meeting for the HMP from 7 to 8 on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. Dan would like to thank Councilman Bull for attending the HMP open meeting night for the residents with him. For the fire marshal, there were no call outs for the month. Delaware County Fire Marshal's meeting was held at the Conkerville Fire Company. And that is all I have.
Super. Mr. Costigan, do you have anything for Hometown Hero program?
Yes, Madam President, the Hometown Hero application will be open beginning November 4th, and it'll run through March 7th, so plenty of time to get in an application if you have an application for a veteran that lives in the borough or is a family member of somebody from the borough. We're going to do another round of banners for the Hometown Hero program. And I'd like to thank Michelle for her hard work on this, on
Thank you.
the process for getting this going. So the applications will be posted online, and we'll have some paper copies in the office as well.
Paper copies are good for the older people.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I have for Hometown Heroes. Do you want me to go into recycling? Totals for the month of September, trash, we had 88.68 tons, recycling 13.53 tons.
Super, thank you. And thank you and Michelle for working on that application. It looked very nice.
Of course.
Communications, Mrs. Haynes, do you have something for this evening?
Yes, Madam President. The newsletter is printed. It should be finished up and packaged and hopefully in our hands within this week. And then I'll give it to Ryan, who will deliver it hopefully before trunk or treat.
Good.
Second, I have an interest in having police trading cards printed for our police force. As a kid growing up in Parkside here, I remember it being very special. So it's something I've been wanting to do for a while now. And I gave everybody some paperwork on it. For 13 of them, for $50 for each officer, it would be $300. I'd like to have code enforcement have one done, just because to honor how long he's been with us. And he drives a car that's similar to a police car. And shipping is $60. The design services is $75. So I'm asking if we could have a motion to approve $500 for this project, not to go over.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I will only comment that you're dating me when you say you were a child, but yes, we did these many, many years ago. And the public loved them, the children loved them. And I think it's a marvelous way to have the children and the officers interact and get to know that person. So definitely. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. And it's not to exceed $500.
Okay, thank you, that's all I have.
Do you have anything else this evening?
No.
Did Ed leave a text? He did. He's reading my mind.
Good evening. The treasurer has received a total of $1,385,759.10 $0.28 to date. There was $11,322.75 in revenue deposits from September 16th, 2024 to October 16th, 2024. Regards, Ed Fisher. And that check for $11,322 I gave to Donna tonight.
Thank you. I know our treasurer is waiting for some figures, so.
Yes.
we'll help. Engineers report, sir, would you like to?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Engineers report for September 2024. The road program, AF Damon completed all work. We recommended payment to AF Damon in the amount of $43,026.20. I believe action was already made on that. This also included a final quantities change order for a credit in the amount of $1,247.80. Next was the trash bids. So bids were taken for the trash. 2 bids were received. Low bid was submitted by B&L Services in the amount of $233,344, $245,011, and $257,262. And then recycling at $71,625, $75,206, and $78,967 for the years of 2025 through 2027, respectively. And that's budget permitting. The Edgemont Ave, PennDOT HOP, there was a follow-up with PennDOT concerning the need for a HOP permit for the stormwater replacement project. We're currently working on that. And then there's some grant potential. The Pico Green Region grant is out. An email went out to the municipalities that could possibly fund the gardens at Woodlot. We're working on the grant application. Its deadline is October 24th, 2024. We would need info on the tree selection and the rain garden design and a resolution. And then also the LSA grant, that's a local share account. There's no match. It's $25,000 to $1 million. The deadline is November 30th, and we'll need a resolution to be adopted for that. We also need more information on the apparatus that will be purchased with that. And that's all I have, Madam President.
Super. Doug, did you have an opportunity to get that list of trees together for Catania Engineering?
I do have the list of trees. I do need to forward it. Radnor had a wonderful tree planting in the spring, and they have a number of nice trees that don't produce a whole lot of trash and are very beneficial. If I miss sending that over, my apologies. It's directly off of Radnor Shade Tree Commission's website as far as that, and it's widely used and they're all good plantings.
Could you get that to Dan?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thank you. And we already put in for the Green Ridge Regional Grant. The OSA, we have time to get a resolution until Ms. Catania's back. Any questions for the engineer?
Yeah, I do. Do we have anybody lined up for the Edgemont Avenue project? Is it already lined up, the contractor?
No, the plans are prepared. We're looking into the permitting on it, and then we'll put it out the bid.
So this was going on for a while now. I just don't understand why this is taking so damn long.
Well,
I'm driving a fire truck down that avenue and it's getting busted up.
Totally agree. I spoke with
Disgrace.
Ms. Catania briefly Monday morning, as council's aware. She had a family member pass Monday evening. PennDOT had not gotten back to her concerning the PennDOT permit. And what I said to her at that point is, since the plans are ready, then we need to bid it and we need to move forward. If PennDOT jumps up and down because there is no permit, she has a paper trail showing that they never responded.
Good.
So that's how I left it.
Just start it without the permit, then if we just get it done.
That's my feeling, and that's, I'm sure she will not be doing any business this week. So we'll get back to it, and if you don't put that in. Mr. Wills, does anybody else have anything for the engineer? Mr. Wills.
Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The October 16th Solicitor's Report is as follows. Number one, we begin with the former Parkside Methodist Church. Earlier this month, the borough had received a zoning hearing board application requesting a special exception to utilize the property at 2801 Edgemont Avenue as a house of worship. Of course, this had been operated as the Parkside Methodist Church for many years, but that use had been abandoned, and therefore the property reverted back to the R1 residential zoning district use. And again, a religious use is not permitted in the R1 residential zoning district by right, but only through a special exception as granted by the Parkside Zoning Hearing Board. A hearing was in fact held last evening, at which time the board voted unanimously to grant the applicant the special exception. And that hearing went very, very well last evening. Second on my list concerns the police chief vacancy. Police Chief Tom Murray has indicated to council his intention to embark on a well-deserved retirement as Borough Police Chief effective December 31st of 2024. Section 1184D of the Pennsylvania Borough Code provides that in the case of a vacancy in the office of Chief of Police, Borough Council may nominate a person to the Civil Service Commission who shall subject the nominee to a non-competitive oral examination. Borough Council is of the considered opinion that the borough's longest tenured full-time police officer, that being Officer Patrick McEwen, is eminently qualified to take over the reins of the department as Chief of Police. Consequently, the Civil Service Commission shall be conducting an oral examination and report back to Borough Council its findings prior to the November Council monthly meeting. Assuming Officer McEwen is found to be qualified, Borough Council will be in a position at the November monthly meeting to make the appointment and approve a proposed employment agreement with the new police chief. Third item on my agenda concerns the property at 142 East Avon Road. This property has sustained a fire loss on September the 22nd of 2023, resulting in significant damage to the structure. The borough has adopted an ordinance which requires insurance companies to place in escrow with the borough certain settlement funds when the total damage to the policyholder's home exceeds 60% of their policy limit. The money is held in an escrow reserve account by the borough treasurer to ensure that the damaged property is not left in an unrepaired and undesirable condition. The ordinance further requires that all borough property taxes, fees, and assessments on the property are fully paid prior to the return of any fire insurance proceeds to the policyholder. I am pleased to advise that all repairs to the building have been completed in accordance with all applicable borough codes. All taxes have been paid, and a certificate of occupancy has been issued for the property. Accordingly, Borough Council voted in the affirmative earlier this evening, right, to release the sum of $24,306.23 that was held in escrow by the Borough Treasurer to the property owner. Fourth item on my agenda concerns the property at 300 East Avon Road. The property owner had filed an application for a zoning permit to permit the borough for a zoning permit with the borough to utilize the basement of his dwelling unit in order to sell, transfer, and manufacture firearms. Now, this property is situated in the borough's R1 residential zoning district. The operation of a professional home office in a dwelling unit is not a use permitted by right in the R1 residential zoning district. Such a use is only permissible by a special exception as so granted by the zoning hearing board. Accordingly, the zoning officer has denied the application for a zoning permit by correspondence dated October the 8th. The property owner has 30 days to file an appeal with the zoning hearing board. I will keep Borough Council advised as matters proceed. Fifth item on my agenda concerns the accounting services agreement. Brinker Simpson and Company, our borough treasurer, has forwarded to my attention a proposed accounting services agreement for the borough for calendar year 2025. I'm pleased to advise that there is no increase in their proposed fee structure. Brinker Simpson has in fact provided highly professional financial accounting services to the borough over the past several years. From my own personal perspective, they are a pleasure to work with. And Ms. Stillwell is readily available and responsive to all of my inquiries and all of my phone calls. And sometimes there are many. Accordingly, I have wholeheartedly endorsed the borough's adoption and approval of the accounting services agreement. And with that, Madam President, I can report general progress.
Super. Thank you, Jay. Any questions for the solicitor? Ladies and gentlemen, we're now at the point of the agenda in which is call the citizens. Does anybody wish to address council?
Don't look at me. Mandy Domenico, same question as always, the first one. Right to know is, have they finally calmed down then?
You jinxed us, so we have another one.
I didn't.
Just as a little FYI, last month I happened to mention that the cost of the right to know does affect our professional staff when they are needed.
Right.
I did a very, very brief survey of the expense for the professional staff, and it totaled up approximately $5,600 and some dollars.
Okay. And I just want to remind people, election at the firehouse in November, it's going to be packed, so come early. That's it. I tell you early.
Andrew Slowick, 142. How much more money did our trash cost us this year?
I will tell you, it's on new business to be adopted.
Okay.
But we had 2 bids, 3 bids went out, only 2 came back. B&L was the lowest for trash only, okay? $70,000 less than the second bidder. But on the recycling, they were $100,000 lower than the second bidder. This will increase the trash fee. There's no doubt. Nobody wants to do trash. I mean, we put the bids out years ago, you would have 5 bidders. This time we have 2.
Yeah, because you asked once, I mean, the last time I was at the meeting, you wanted at least 3. You wanted at least 3 to do some comparison.
Well,
couldn't
we
even
only
get
put
that.
2, we put out 3 bids. Catania put out 3 bids, Catania Engineering. 2 came back. What we did was, the engineer gave you prices. They were for year 1, year 2, and year 3. So that the contract will be for the year of 2025, 26, and 27. The same with the recycling. They will be for year 1, 2, and 3. The recycling and the trash for those 3 years, I will say there was a minute difference of increase progressively. So that year 1 was 233,344. But when you get to year 3, they were only, and I shouldn't say only, they were 257,262. So you're looking at approximately only $20,000 difference in a 3-year period. Number 1, nobody wants trash. Number 2, nobody wants recycling. And I've said this speech before. When recycling started a million years ago, we were paid $32 a ton. We were paid. Then it progressively went downhill to the point where we are now paying them. There is no money in recycling. It's being dumped everywhere because nobody wants it. It's being shipped overseas. And we were fortunate to have 2 bids. So we will make a motion to accept the low bidder, which will be B&L tonight.
My question is this, in that we pay, in our taxes, there is a specification area where we pay our trash, that trash up outside of our real estate. When we pay that money in, there's not enough money there in that trash fee to cover our new bid?
No.
Then we don't, then we're always at a loss.
I think I have my figures with me. Keep in mind that your trash fee is separate from, and it's a trash fee,
Yes, ma'am.
because the fee has to equate the actual amount that we're paying.
Correct?
So that your property tax is different than a trash fee. One's a
Yes.
tax, one's a fee. And we're looking at, I don't know, I have it with me, $80 increase next year to equate to the figures that we have. At this point, we're not even breaking even.
Right.
So that the general fund is now supporting the Delaware County Solid Waste, which we don't know what they're gonna increase, if they're gonna increase. And the general fund, your property taxes, are now supporting the trash fee.
I see.
Because we're not breaking even.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. And that doesn't include whether or not they're going to increase in February, I believe, the solid fund, right?
They usually notify us by now. Last year, they had a pretty good
We
increase.
should have, I haven't seen an increase from Delaware County Solid Waste.
I don't know where I heard maybe 6%, but I'm not sure where I got that from.
And usually it's by the end of November. At the beginning of November, we should have our tax assessment. But at the end, we should have something by the end of November.
And the only other question is, the money that we pay for our repaving, does that come out of general fund, or
I'm sorry?
the money that we paid for for our paving, did that come out of general fund?
Road program is,
Yes.
Liquid fuels and.
Did liquid fuel cover all that?
there's 3. We get county aid from Delaware County.
Right.
Liquid fuel, and
Right.
any difference will come out of general fund, which I think is $1,400 off the top of my head.
So most of it came from liquid fuel then?
Majority of it comes from liquid fuel. Delaware County, at the beginning of each year, we ask for Delaware County for some help. They give us a minute amount. So the source to pay for the road program, the 40,000 that you heard we passed tonight, will come out of 3 sources. Liquid fuel, which is the tax money we receive on the gasoline
Correct.
should be spent on roads and road programs, bridges, inlets, and there's a few other things. The county aid that the county sends to us, that if we don't use, we can carry over next year and put it towards the road. And then any difference will come out of general fund.
And so would you say most of most of that was paid for by liquid fuel?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Nobody else? We'll just keep moving. Anybody have any old business? New business. Again, council has before them the bids. You will see that we are looking at 3-year contract, 25, 26, and 27. The increase for those 3 years are basically 14,000 for the second year and less than 20,000 for the third. If you're looking at the single stream curbside recycling, the recycling cost over a 3-year period went up only minutely. The first into the second year would be about 4,000, and into the third year would only be about 3,000. As I explained to our resident, the second bidder was JP Mascaro. His bid was over 70,000 for the first year, and approximately 80, almost 90,000 by the end of the third year. For recycling, he was over $100,000 for the first year, second year, and third year consecutive. I'll entertain a motion to accept B&L Disposal for the contract for our trash and recycling.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any questions on the motion or the figures? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Would you, I believe Ms. Catania sends out these contracts because she has the bid one on this.
And,
You want to
the
check?
bid's here.
Is there something for me to sign tonight?
Not sure. She, just told me to deliver it.
Okay, you might want to open it. The second motion that council will see is the approval of proposal for Moyer Pest Control. The reason we put this in there is because we currently have a fairly good handle on the rodents in the woodlot. But we do not want it to flare up again over the winter and spring months. They have been very fair with their pricing. They will leave the traps down and then rebate, and they're going to charge $85 a quarter. So I'll entertain a motion to accept their proposal.
Second. Or so moved.
I'm sorry?
So moved.
I'll make that motion.
You can second it. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? So moved. Does anyone on council have any old business, new business?
Madam President, I would like to ask for permission to request the Borough Secretary to send flowers of condolences to Catania Engineering.
Most definitely. And I would ask that something appropriate be sent directly to Ms. Catania also.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Any questions? All those in favor? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.